Hello and welcome. Zan here, and today we're going to be going over 5 tips for Crusader Kings 3. Tip number 1 is about education. As you may know, every character in the game, once they hit the age of 16, is given an education trait, ranging from level 1 to level 4, denoted by these stars here at the bottom. Each level is going to give you 2 points in your attribute that goes along with the trait, as well as a 10% bonus to the lifestyle experience for that attribute. In this case, martial lifestyle for Duke William the Bastard here, which is going to give 40% bonus to filling out this lifestyle tree here. So how do you actually get those lifestyle traits? Well, every child under the age of 16 is going to have an education focus. In this case, Count Robert has a martial focus. Now, the game will automatically assign this if you don't do it yourself based on the child's childhood trait. In this case, Robert is bossy, so he will perform well in a martial education or a stewardship education and perform poorly in a diplomacy education. So that kind of helps, but the main thing here is going to be, first of all, the child's congenital traits, whether or not they are quick, intelligent, or genius. Shrewd here will also work as quick, and the same is going to apply for their guardian. So if their guardian is quick, intelligent, or genius, it increases the likelihood that the child they are in charge of will get a better martial trait. There's also a special prowess education trait for cultures that have knighthood, but we're not going to get into that right now. So if we look over here, you can actually see how it works. So each year, you're basically given an education score, and you've got a 60% chance to increase that by 2 and a 40% chance to not increase that at all every year from 6 to 16, or I guess technically 7 to 16. And the way that works is those points will be added up once the child reaches the age of 16, and the sum of that will determine their trait level. So 0 to 6 is going to give you a trait level of 1, 7 to 10, trait level of 2, 11 to 14, a trait level of 3, and 15 or higher is going to give you a trait level of 3. In the base game, that works out to a 10% chance to get a trait level 1, a 40% chance to get level 2 or 3, and about a 7% chance to get a level 4 trait. If you unlock the Dynasty Legacy Kin, which states that it will give Dynasty members a better education, that essentially just gives it a bonus to that very last time whenever you hit 16 years of age. It is going to guarantee that you get the 2 education points and give you a 60% chance to get a 3rd education point. So it's pretty good for getting that 4 level especially if you already have those high level congenital traits. Down here there's a bunch of math that you can plug in. We're not going to get too into the weeds. These charts are the main thing I want to talk about here. So as you can see, you have these factors that influence how likely you are to get the education points here. If the child is a genius, that is the single most important factor in the entire game, followed by guardian trait of genius or child trait of intelligent. Also, the childhood trait matching. So, like Count Robert was bossy, and so you would want to put him into a martial or stewardship education. That's also going to give the same factor as being a genius would. So also hugely important. You can see here the negative traits do also affect it in the inverse. They make it harder to get a good education trait, as well as not matching I think this specifically is going to be like with if you tried to give Count Robert a diplomatic education, not one of the neutral ones, but I cannot confirm that. And again, no Guardian is going to give a negative for the Guardian factor. And as you can see down here, your primary attributes and half of your learning do influence that, but it's actually significantly less than you might think. So if we hop back over here to Duke William the Bastard, who is a fantastic martial character, not great learning in this playthrough, but you can see he's got 19 martial. That's going to come out to 40% of that is just about 8. So you're going to get a primary attribute factor of 8, and then 20% of 5 is 1. So that one's easy. So total, you're going to get a factor of 9 from him based purely on his attributes. As you can see, that's less than if you just had a child with quick or a guardian with intelligent alone. Now, obviously, if you have a quick, intelligent, genius guardian, they're probably also going to have higher attributes based on having a better education trait and getting the small bumps from being a genius, intelligent, and quick. So that will generally just be better to have characters that have that genius, intelligent, quick. And as you can see here, that's exactly what they recommend. First of all, they recommend someone that's not going to kill your child, because this is all kind of pointless if you've got a spy master that hates your guts and he just murders your child. Next, they're going to go genius, intelligent, quick. Then the primary attribute is the 5th most important, and the learning attribute is at the bottom. I'm going to add one more thing at the top of this list here, which is actually going to be that you should try to educate your child yourself. Your most important children, you want to be in control of their personality traits. Their personality traits can be hugely influential in how they play out throughout the game. Let's see, we don't have any shy characters, but we do have a craven character who's obviously going to perform very poorly in battle, and if you get those battle pop-ups, if he's leading an army, he's going to do poorly in them and have potentially worse outcomes, and you want to be able to control that as much as possible. Anyways, point number 2 is going to be the notify when decision is available box down here at the bottom. It's on every decision. Most of the major decisions already have it checked, so you don't have to worry about those, but it wouldn't hurt to give it a once over every now and then. The main 3 I'm going to recommend that you turn this on for are invite knights, hold feast, and call hunt. So anytime you meet the requirements for these 3 things, so for call hunt, if you have the requisite amount of gold, in this case is Duke, 67 gold, and you haven't done it within the last 5 years, and you're not leading an army or anything like that, you'll get this little pop-up that says, hey, this decision is available, just like you would for these major decisions. And this just helps to let you know that, hey, maybe I've got level 2 stress right now, and I really need to manage that, and I'm diligent and brave. If I call a hunt, maybe this will drop me back down to level 1, call a feast, give you another way to manage your stress so you're not reliant on random events to lower your stress. This can be especially important for managing your stress if you're using that first tip and choosing the personality traits for your children. A lot of the times, the best trait isn't going to be the one that gives you no stress. It's going to be one of the ones that give you a minimum of like 30 stress. So then you can come here, go on a hunt, and reduce that and manage your stress a little bit better. You can also do that for going on a pilgrimage, inviting claimants, developing your capital, searching for a position. Like I said, all of these decisions, you can toggle that on if you'd like. Next up, number 3 is going to deal with faiths, specifically how to convert to another faith. So if you go to this panel and you go to this other faiths button, you can see all the other faiths in the game. Right now, we can only see Christian faiths, but if I wanted to convert to Catharism or Waldensianism here, I could just click on it, convert to faith, and assuming I met the criteria here, which is having 2,520 piety, I could convert, and my close family and any vassals that liked me enough would convert as well. Now, if you turn off this box, you can actually see every religion in the game, even the dead ones. Like, for instance, where is it? Hellenism here. Now, in Crusader Kings 2, you could convert to Hellenism by reforming the Roman Empire. However, in Crusader Kings 3, that decision doesn't turn your faith to Hellenism. So this is actually the only way to convert to Hellenism, unless there's some random event that I'm unaware of. And as you can see, trying to go from Catholicism to Hellenism is pretty ridiculous. So if that is something you're interested in, you're going to really have to try hard to do that. And while we're here, let's touch on another thing. This tab, Holy Sites, is going to show you not only the holy sites for the religion that you have selected, which again, we're still on Hellenism here, it's also going to give you the benefits that having those holy sites is going to give you. So you can see here, if Rome is Hellenist, all Hellenists will get +1 stewardship and +10% development growth. Now these bonuses that they give don't change based on the religion you have. So if we go back to, let me close this. If we go back to Catholicism, you'll see Rome still gives +1 stewardship and +10% development growth. But what it can tell you is if you go over to Orthodox, who has some extremely powerful bonuses, then you can kind of plan out your conquests. Do you want to expand into Italy and take Rome straight away and get that development growth? Or more likely, do you want to make sure you have control of Antioch and Alexandria, whoops, to get those extra attributes per level of devotion? Tip number 4 is going to be landing knights or high ability courtiers to increase their attributes. So for example, if we take Raoul de Tosny here, who has 7 prowess and 11 martial, you can see he's got a martial education. So we are pretty sure he's going to choose a martial lifestyle when we give him this title, which he did. He took the chivalry focus and brought him up to 14 prowess, which basically doubled it. So you can see that's a really good way to get more powerful knights, and it works the same way if you have someone that is a very good spy master, and you just want them to be even better as a spy master. You give this to him, and unfortunately he took the temptation focus, but had he taken the skullduggery focus or intimidation focus, you could have potentially had an even better spy master. Now obviously something to be aware of when you're doing that is just giving someone one county isn't going to make them a powerful vassal. So if you have powerful vassals that you really want to keep track of and make sure they're happy, this method isn't going to solve that issue if you replace them on the council. But it's a good way to take someone that is already pretty decent and make them even better. The final tip is going to be pressing claims for unlanded courtiers, which isn't a new feature in Crusader Kings 3. It's just the functionality is different than how it worked in Crusader Kings 2. In Crusader Kings 2, if you had a landed vassal and you pressed their claim, they would still remain your vassal and get that land. that they claimed. But if you press the claim of an unlanded courtier, then they would become independent instead of becoming a vassal under you. In Crusader Kings 3, if you have an unlanded courtier and press their claim, then they will become a vassal under your empire, your kingdom, whatever, under your realm. So here, for example, we've got Alan de Pentive, and he has a claim on Nantes. So we're going to declare war on Nantes. We have debug mode enabled, so we can do this quickly. We'll enforce the demands, and boom. You can see here, if we get this out of the way, you can see here that Alan the Red of Nantes has become our vassal. So we both pressed his claim and were able to get a new vassal, which is a much better way to expand your territory than how it worked in Crusader Kings 2, which basically only worked if you wanted to, say, take your cousin and have him become the king of Bohemia or something and press that claim. But yeah, that's all the tips I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and check out my Merovingian restoration campaign that I will link on the next screen. See you later.